Fashion Dolls. It is Motivation Monday, April 3rd. We are finally in spring season, Fashion Dolls. And I'm super excited about today's special guest. This is his third time coming to my talk show here in the Dollhouse. And I'm super excited to have multi-award winning singer and songwriter Stevie Voice here, ladies and gentlemen, here to talk about his new hit single and what he's been up to since we last spoke back in 2022. That was when we did our last interview. But he is back today, ladies and gentlemen. So let's dive right into this interview. I apologize about the wait. I had to upload the OOTD, the outfit of the day, and things are moving kind of slow. So please forgive me. Let's get into it with our very special guest, multi-award winning artist, singer and songwriter, Stevie Voice. Hello.
Hello.
Ooh,
How are you doing?
wonderful. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. Hold on, put that away. There we go. Happy
Yes,
Monday
it's
indeed.
so great to have you back. We did our last interview while I was introducing you, I would have said back in 2022.
Yep. I can't believe has it
Yes,
been that long? Yeah, it has been that long. My gosh, time flies. I'm happy. This is the third time that we get on an interview together, and there's gonna be a
yes.
fourth one and a fifth one. I mean, it's gonna keep on going forever.
So what have you been up to since we last spoke? I know the last time you were here, you released new music, the hit single Scream, which is
Yep.
out on all platforms everywhere. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And you have more new music coming about, which we'll talk about. So what have you been up to since we last spoke? Because I know you've been working on some things.
Yep. So I've been working on some new music, obviously. Actually, I've been working a lot with an artist. Her name is Claudia Lenti. Helping her with her new album. I produced it, and she just released it last Friday, actually, called Cities on Fire. So that's been a big priority for the last few months, actually. Very excited for her. Very excited as the album is out. It's getting a lot of great reception, and just being a part of that journey. I think being on that side of the fence where I got to really sit down and produce another artist as opposed to just producing myself really opened my eyes to different ways of creativity. So yeah, I'm just happy that her album's out and it's doing
And
well.
how do you find the balance with writing your stuff and then managing an artist? Because I know that can be time consuming. It's definitely a stretch.
I mean, to be honest, it's because I just love all aspects of creativity, and I love to learn. I think once you allow yourself to be in that mindset, then it doesn't really feel like you're contesting against or competing with yourself mentally. It just feels like you're just expanding. It's like a natural progression. So with Claudia, getting to sit down with her in the initial phases of the project and just listening to what she wanted to talk about and hearing the things that she needed to get off her chest, really allowed me to be a part of her world and help bring her vision to life. So yeah, I mean, I think it in a way it's gonna, when I do come back to my own stuff, I've learned new things that I can now apply to myself. So, and at the same time, I feel like whenever you allow yourself to be a part of another creator's world, then you're allowing yourself to evolve artistically, because it's so easy to get trapped in a tunnel vision when you only work with yourself. But when you work with other people, then you get to discover new things about yourself and about them, and
And
vice
you
versa.
get to see their creativity process, the way it manages your creativity
Yeah.
process. How's that been for you as well, too? Because I've seen you been posting a lot here on just about staying in tune with yourself, defining who you are. How can that be? How's that
Yeah.
been so far? Do you ever find yourself getting afraid to ever take that leap?
Um, I think in the past I was afraid to take that leap because I was always afraid of the unknown, way back when. But I've learned that there are more things to be afraid of in staying constant than there are than of the unknown. Because when you stay stagnant, that's when you truly aren't growing, and you're just not living to the most of your capacity. But when you jump into the unknown, as scary as it may be, you are taking chances, you're taking risks, but at the same time you're discovering. And I think that's what human nature is all about, for me anyway. I think human nature is all about discovery. And I think when we stop allowing ourselves to learn, stop allowing ourselves to discover, that's when we truly start to fall.
Absolutely. I've just seen a question. Someone has a question for you. Hi, Ray. Ray wants to know, are you willing to work with more artists after her?
Absolutely. I'm always, ready to work with other creators that are willing to dive into themselves, because I think that's really important for me in my own music, is that I really want to always be able to dive into myself and explore parts of myself that I may not already know. And I love working with artists that have that same mentality, that are willing to dive into their emotions, that are willing to reveal things about themselves that they may have not known before. Because I feel it's therapeutic for the both of us.
Just writing in general for you as an artist, and even for me as on this side of the talk show host, is very therapeutic, because you're making sure that you are on top of everything. Now, mentally, how have you been? On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your mental health? Because I know it's been a lot going on. You guys have been in the news lately. I don't even have to dive into that. But how have you been protecting your mental health lately? And on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being your most happiest, how would you describe it?
I think we're all kind of teetering on, I want to say on the best days, I'm an 8, 9. But I'm going to say I'm on a 7. And it's just because there are moments where, I mean, the world is heavy right now, and we can't deny that. But I'm someone that's, the more I've learned about, especially during the pandemic, I've learned so much about the human mind and how important it is to seek counsel. And so I'm not one to be shy to say that I speak with therapists. Whenever things get overwhelming, I'm not afraid to reach out to people that I love, to my partner. I'm not afraid to ask for help and seek guidance. But I'm also lucky from actually all of February. My partner and we traveled. We went to Europe, we went to Italy, we went to Greece, and I feel like just leaving Montreal after 3 years being stuck in Canada because of the pandemic really just reopened my eyes to what the world has to offer. So I feel I'm in a much better place to tackle the things in my life that may seem hard. I realized that the world is a much bigger place, and in the grand scheme of things, nothing is truly as bad as we think it is.
Absolutely. Let me see it. Did I miss any comments? Ray says, well, I'll hit you up. I always thought you were very talented, and I will stay in touch.
Thank you. Yes, please reach out. That's great stuff.
It's funny you say mental health, because the last time I guess that I had, last week I had my model actor Damian J. Thompson on the show, on the platform, and he talked about it as well too. He's born in Kingston, Jamaica, and coming all the way from Kingston, Jamaica to America, it was a big shift and change for him. He lost his father and things like that. He talked about normalizing mental health and how important it is for people of color, and just as in general, everybody, to make sure that we stay in tune with who we are. There is nothing wrong with going to sit on the couch and talk to someone. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And we, as people, we have to normalize.
Not at all.
So that's why I ask, because I know for you as an artist, it's a lot with the current state of everything that's going on. You guys have been seeing what's going on. I don't even have to talk about it. But if you know, you know. So I will just say this. I don't know. We're waiting on the mugshot to come out to give you a hint. But we'll leave it at that. But yes, it is very, very important to make sure that you are taking care of yourself as an artist. And even Meg Thee Stallion, she's one of my favorite female rappers right now at this time. Her and Cardi B, I love them both. She had to take a break from everything that has happened. She had to take a break from social media, literally detox. A lot of artists, mainly not just celebrities, people who are in the limelight like us, but regular everyday people. Everybody has emotions, and we have to know what works for us, what doesn't work for us. I just had a conversation with my mom today, and she was just like, your sister, because I lost my sister back in 2018. And my family, her birthday will be coming up in June. June 29th rings around. That's going to be bittersweet for me. It's just like, okay, do we celebrate her legacy? Do we not celebrate? What would she wanted if she was here? All of those things come into play. So I have to take that into consideration. But make sure that you are protecting your energy and protecting your peace. I've learned, and I heard this on Tamron Hall. When it comes to mental health, we have to make sure that we are unplugging from certain things. If it's overwhelming to us, because even for me, I mean,
Absolutely.
I appreciate the love that people give me on this platform, don't get me wrong. But even for me, from where I'm standing as the hostess standpoint, I'm just like, whoa, wow, I never would have
Yeah.
imagined that. I kind of had to take a step back because it's just like, all of this is coming at me all at once, and I don't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
But my mom says receive it because the universe loves you. Whatever's
Yeah.
putting out there, the
Yeah.
type of energy that you're putting out there is what is going to attract people. It's basically saying your
Beautiful.
vibe
Yeah.
attracts your tribe. So that's all.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I mean, every once in a while you need to take time to disconnect so that you can truly receive the blessings, because sometimes we're so overwhelmed that the blessings fly over our heads. So taking that time to just allow yourself to realign with yourself allows you to see the things that you didn't allow yourself to see anymore.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of being in the moment and being still, you have new music, and the single is
Yeah.
called Time. Now, tell us a little bit about this single and the process, because you always come up with beautiful music from Scream. Scream has a powerful meaning. This one is a little bit more, it's different than Scream, because you said the last time we
Yeah.
spoke that the project he was working on, your album, is going to be a little bit different. You wanted to do something different for the audience. So tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, so time. I wanted you to be. I think you're essentially the first person in the media that I sent the music video to and the single to, because it comes out April 28th. But I wanted you to have it first. And actually, the first time I'm actually saying when it's coming out.
All
So
right.
it comes out April 28th. Um, and time for me was I don't know. It's a song I wrote recently, and I guess maybe as you get older, you start to look at your life, and I started to just look at where I am and be look back and see how far I've come. And I imagined myself years from now, at a point in my life where I'm now looking back, and the things that I'm doing right now, all these moments are now long gone. And I thought about that bittersweet reality of you're grateful to the universe for all that you've done, but at the same time you're sad that those moments are now gone. And it's about that duality, that gratefulness and also that sadness. And I wanted, and for some reason it overwhelmed me, and I wanted to just capture that. And so I just started writing and recording and producing, and the song Time was born. And this was during the time that I was working a lot with Claudia for her album, and so so she's also in the song. She features, and I just knew that she'd be a perfect person to be on the song with me. So I asked her, and she wrote what she did, and I love what she did. When people get to hear it eventually, they'll see what I mean. But she plays the other side of the coin, where on from my perspective, it's a bittersweet take on the passage of time, and she is the person that says time might be passing, but you have to hold on to what you can hold on to and keep moving. And I thought that was really beautiful. Yes, that's what the song. It's unlike Scream. Scream is very much high energy,
Yes.
very aggressive, and Time is more mellow. And I feel like I really wanted the emotion of Time to sink in, and make people pause and feel what what I'm saying, what I'm trying to convey. And I hope they do. But yeah, that's
You
Time.
will, and especially in this current state, like you mentioned earlier, with everything that's going on, we've survived everything, pandemics to elections to everything. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
So now it's just like you sort of just want to take that deep breath and reflect on all of the things that you've been through your life, all of your accomplishments, all of your achievements, all of your memories, all of these things that make us uniquely divine in our own way in God's time. So the time
Yeah.
is a beautiful song. I've heard it. I was the first to hear it. It is amazing. So,
Yes,
oh
right.
my God, I can't wait to see the visuals for this project. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. I think the people are gonna like the visuals. I worked in the music video. I worked with a good friend of mine. He's an actor based out of Montreal. His name is Nir Gazinski, and we had, I'm just gonna say we had fun with makeup. We had fun with makeup to transform him, and I think people are gonna appreciate what we did. It's very subtle in the way we did it, but I think once you understand the point of the video, it'll make the song make that much more
Let me
sense.
go through and read some of you guys' comments. J Flex says, broski. Big Bobo
Hey,
Lee says, hello, superstar.
too kind.
Oh, okay, Alan Yankee, that's a powerful point. It's very important that you take a break before you break. Live in peace and not pieces. I've had to learn it the
Well
hard
said.
way. Trust and believe. There have been
Yep.
days, I've learned there are days where I just don't feel like, you know, I don't feel like myself. But I started doing a new mantra.
Yep.
Every morning when I get up, I say my affirmations. In the morning, I pray and I talk to
Hmm.
God and I say my affirmations as well every morning when I get up. And one of the affirmations is I am
Yep.
invincible because we are. We've been
Yeah.
through so much. We've
Yep.
accomplished so much. We're still here. We're still surviving. And give yourself a pat on the back for that because you've made it. You're here. You're alive to tell your story, which coincides with your song Time. And it's so
Time.
crazy how it has flew by. Like we've lost so many people, we've gained new people in the world, and
Yep.
I'm happy. We're
Yep.
all at a place of happiness, and we found a place where we can be at peace, as Alan Yankee said in the comments. And that is important that you find a place where you can be at solace. And me, I can say this is the most happiest I've ever been because I'm not gonna lie. In 2022, there were some days doing interviews and shows. After I've done an interview, I would just be depressed. And I know over the weekend, it just really hit me hard. Like the emotions, I'm Yankee knows,
Yeah.
because it just really started to, I don't know what had me super emotional. And I think it could be the weather has something to do with it because it was raining. I just don't know. I was thinking about so many things and I just started crying for some reason. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yep. You're absolutely right. I mean, so I feel it was the same with me in 2022. There are a lot of moments where things just got really heavy and I didn't understand why. I know right before I went on vacation, I just started to physically feel exhausted and drained. And I think going on vacation came at the right time, because it just rejuvenated me in a way that I didn't know I needed. So I just like we're saying right now, it's just important, whether it's a month, whether it's a day, whether it's an hour, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to allow yourself to take a moment for yourself. Take the time to allow yourself to process, heal, so you can keep moving. So I love that. I love that comment about, yeah, take a break before you break. It's so important.
Alan Yankee
So important.
remembers it. He knows. He's like my fraternal. It's like he knows exactly what goes on in my head. And I reached out to him over the weekend. I reached out to
Yeah.
a couple people, and they knew what was up. And I just wasn't feeling like myself because I'm always a happy, upbeat, colorful, bubbly person. And the weekend I just wasn't feeling,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, no, why am I so emotional? Because I was fine earlier, and then I just started breaking down. Alan Yankee says,
Yeah.
I remember him. Doesn't he want to play the Joker?
Yeah, I absolutely do. It will happen some way, some shape or form. I would love to play the Joker in some version of DC, some different universe where things are different. I would love, 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 love to
Now
play a
that was
version
going
of
to
the
be.
Joker.
Thank you, Alan Yankee, for that pointer because that was actually going to be my next point. You have the new music out. Time. Could we see some acting in the future?
That's always the plan. That is always the plan. So I mean, the winter season is always really slow when it comes to acting, at least when
Yeah.
it comes to auditions, because they usually aren't happening. But when spring summer hits, that's when all the auditions happen. So I'll continue to keep everyone posted on the auditions. As everyone knows, I think I said it last time, I'm constantly training because one of my goals is to play a superhero in the MCU, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm constantly training, constantly at the gym, trying to achieve a certain physique so that if I get the chance to audition, I'll increase my chances.
And practice makes perfect. We all got to practice at some point. So I can't wait to do that because that was actually
Hmm.
going to be my question to you the last time you were here. I just didn't get a chance to ask it. We were so busy focusing on the single, which was Spring Before Time.
Yeah.
Now, time is
Spring.
a
Yeah.
little bit more mellow. So, what else can we? The
Yeah.
question box is still not working. I think it's because the app is not updated on my phone. So that's why if you guys are trying to type in the question box,
Mm.
then you're not going to be able to do it because it's not updated. So I have to clear a few things, remove a few things, and we're going to get that question box updated. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask myself or Stephen here today, joining me, ladies and gentlemen. But the new single is called Time, and it drops April 28th.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go and check that out. The other hit single that we had when we did our previous interview would have been Spring. So make sure you guys go and check that out. That interview is still up. This is Steven's third time coming on the show here.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing
Yeah.
and always a pleasure to have you here. So with that being said, it's now springtime. The flowers are out, the colors are out. What are you looking forward to for this
Yeah.
spring?
This spring, so apart from music, so actually right now behind me there's a session that I'm working on, the mix of yet another song. So one thing, so me and my publicist, we've been toying with the ideas. It's either I release this, a series of singles in 2023, or I put together an album. And my goal for an album, I'm gonna tell you before I tell anyone else, is I want to take, because I released a lot of songs in 2020 and 2021 and 2022, but I released them all as singles. So now I want to release them. I want to re-release them as a compilation project, but adding new music to them. So there's an incentive for the old listeners to get new material, and the new listeners will get to hear all the bodies of work that I released since the beginning of the pandemic. So I'm playing around with that idea. So it's either I do that or I just release a bunch of singles. But that is something that we're thinking about, and festivals and shows and all that. So I'm working with a publicist in Montreal. Her name is Kalika Hastings, and she's been a blessing. It's really cool to sit down with someone and just kind of brainstorm on the future, and someone that believes in my vision and is not trying to change my vision but wants to add to it. So it's been great to meet like-minded people like yourself throughout the trajectory of my
I just
career.
noticed that he favors Ludacris. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe that Ludacris and I are related in some way, shape, or form, because I get that all the time, and I can see it too. So I don't blame anyone for thinking
Do you
it.
get that a lot when you go out?
Uh, Not necessarily when I go out. I don't think people will come up to me and say, well, also when I go out, the first thing people are going to talk about is my hair. I think that's the first thing they see is my hair, and they kind of get stuck on that. But online, I guess when people get time to just really see me, they go, oh, wait a second, there's a resemblance to Ludacris. So yeah, I don't know if there's some sort of relation somewhere. I don't know, but I do see the resemblance. So.
Definitely, it is a resemblance. So I like caught on to it, and I see you guys are coming in. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with multi-award-winning singer and songwriter Stephen Boyce and his newest hit single "Time," which drops April 28th. So make sure you guys go and check that out on all streaming platforms. And also make sure you guys go and check out the previous hit single, Scream, which is out right now. The video is very colorful, so I can't wait to see the concept for this video, because he kind of described it a few minutes ago. So you guys just have to definitely go and check it out. Bobo Lee says, looking dope, man.
Thank you. I try. I try.
That's self-care, because you're big on meditation. You're big. What are some things that you do before? What is your process like before you go into the studio? Like, is there a ritual that you do?
Not necessarily, but before I record, I love to have my vocal passageways be open. So I do love to go to the gym and do cardio. Like when I'm about to, before I record, I love to go do cardio, especially skipping. And actually, I have more of a ritual before I do shows, before I perform. So when I wake up, I go to the gym and I always do intense cardio. It starts with the treadmill and a lot of skipping. I do that for about an hour of just pure cardio, just to get my airflows completely moving. And then after that, it's just a regiment of, one, being very silent, being very quiet, being in my own bubble, and drinking, gargling a lot of salt water, a lot of salt water, to the point that it's probably probably not needed, but I do it just to really make sure that everything is just crystal and ready to go for the shows. But that's essentially it. But I mean, before I create though, it's really because I love to create based on feeling. And so sometimes it could be at 4 o'clock in the morning and it just catches me. And so I wouldn't have time for a regiment. I'll just start creating and there we go. But when I do plan a vocal session, I make sure I do cardio before that.
Wow. And I mean, for me, it's just simple. I just drank tea. But, oh my goodness. He could read a cookbook and I'd listen. He is so artistic.
Thank you.
And that's
Thank you.
another
So
thing.
kind.
Would you go on
So
to do
kind.
besides writing and music artistry? Would you be able to be interested in contributing your voice to projects? Because there are artists who've done that.
I can
Yeah.
like a voiceover work, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I audition for those all the time. I love to play with my voice. Um I love to change my voice and see what I can do with it. And I know I have a voice that's particularly malleable. And so I can, hit high notes, low notes, and play different variations. And so I love to kind of do that. I love to just write out little like scripts, and read them in different voices, or I'll even like read the ingredients of a product, and I'll read it as like the Joker, for example. Like, how would a Joker read this? It's just silly things like that, but I have fun with that. So yes, I would absolutely love to do voiceover. Honestly, I would love, like I said, the Joker. If I could play an animated version of the Joker or the real version of the Joker, that'll be so much fun.
And it's about range. But Lee says he's got dope vocals.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I appreciate
Do we
that.
have any questions, Fashion Dolls? All right, so we're going to do something for the spring, all right? If you could be, I'm going to ask Stephen a couple questions that are affiliated to springtime, all right? I'm thinking of,
Okay, let's do it.
5 things, all right? So the first one is,
Okay.
if I could be a drink, what would be my springtime drink?
Oh, springtime drink. Well, I love ginger, and I love like strawberries, no, like berries. So, and I don't drink alcohol, so it'd be like a mocktail with ginger and berries.
Okay. If I could be a state, what would be my state that I would travel to for vacation?
Good question. So, am I allowed to include provinces
Yes.
since I'm in Canada? I would state. Which state would I go to? I know it's gonna sound cliche, but I've been missing going to Cali. I miss Cali. I would love to go back to California. Yeah, I would just love to go back and visit. It's a different energy, a different vibe. I like it.
If I could be a sunset, at what time of day would it be?
Ooh, what time would it be? I'm very creative at night, so if I could have the sunset be around like 9 p.m., that way I get to experience the sun go down and then get right into my creative elements. That'll be beautiful.
Okay. If I could be a bistro or restaurant, what would I be?
Bistro or restaurant. Well, there's a restaurant in Montreal I really, really love. It's called DeVille. It's called DeVille. And I'll tell you why. Because years ago, when I got my first major tattoo, one of my sleeves, I was so tired and so disoriented, and I was just walking home, and then I came across this restaurant, and I just needed to take a break. So I just walked in there, and I sat down, and I said, I need to take a break. And I just ordered something, and then I ordered their veggie burger, and it was delicious. And ever since then, it's been my go-to place. So shout out to DeVille in Montreal. That's what I would be, DeVille Diner.
All right. If I could be an outing, would I take a hike or would I just go and stroll the beach?
Ooh, I would definitely take a hike. I love discovery. Like, I love the beach, don't get me wrong. I love running on the beach. Like, that's my thing. I love to run on the beach. But when it comes to discovery, hiking, because you never quite know what's around the corner, and I love to climb. So yeah, I would definitely be the one in the wild running, just climbing and discovering parts of the woods.
Fashion Dolls, that is our springtime revival. Now we're going to take some questions from the audience. I see you, Anthony Knight. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We have something actually set up, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We have so many amazing guests coming on this week. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Now, joining me tomorrow, giving you guys the head up, we have celebrity stylist and Donnie Stylist. He will be here tomorrow. He's Nigeria based. So definitely stay tuned for that tomorrow at 4. Tune in tomorrow at 4. We have some amazing guests all throughout this week. So definitely tune in and make sure you're following and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime. I see you guys have been subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. I didn't even have to ask you. You guys have been going back and watching the interviews. If you missed anything, you can check all of the interviews throughout the week on Style by Stevie Daytime, exclusively on YouTube. Some from the past, you can catch me and Steven. This is Steven's third time here on this platform. So if you want to catch the first one and the second one, they are up there as well, too, in case you missed anything. So thank you guys just for joining the conversation throughout the week. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them below my question box. Is it working? So type them in the comments and we'll go from there. So, wow, thought of mine. What is your thought of mine on the current state of music? Because I see that shift happening with so many artists that are now coming into their own. They're saying, okay, I just don't want to do R&B. I just don't want to do pop. Because we talked about this the first time we was here too, about not being put in a box or just labeled. Whitney Houston went through the same thing as well too. They were like, okay, is she pop, is she R&B? And you kind of talked about that, covered that as well too. What are your thoughts on the current state of music and just that shift of artists saying, okay, I can do everything. I don't need to be labeled or put in a box?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's gonna make labels need to reinvent themselves as being, because before it felt like you needed a label to do anything, whereas now a label is more of like an addition to your career if you want it. So I think labels have to shift their mentality and kind of play more of a supportive role in your career as opposed to an ownership role, which gives back the artist the power that that I think they deserve. I think for a long time artists have been kind of playing second fiddle to everyone else. It's like everyone else was in power and then the artist was kind of like under, hoping for someone to give them a chance. And now we can create our chances. And I think it's beautiful. I mean, for me, the idea of being able to just do what I want creatively and not be, you know, pop or R&B or whatever. I can just kind of do whatever feels right to me. I learned that from, you know, observing artists like Prince. Like Prince was big on that. He wouldn't want to be boxed in. Like he would want to do whatever he wanted to do, and that's what I want. And that's why, you know, I have songs like Scream and Time that seem like very different, but at the core there's the same artist. And I think for a long time labels were afraid to have artists diversify because they were afraid that they would confuse their audience. But I think audiences have proven now that we love to see diversity. We want to see growth and expansion. We don't want to see the same thing over and over and over, because that's when things get repetitive, they get boring, and it's like, what's the point? And as a creator, what's the point of doing the same thing over and over? You're no longer creating, you're just regurgitating. And you know, so I love that we're living in a world where artists have more power and they can play with their careers, and then they can try new things, and they can evolve, and that's wonderful.
Absolutely. It's so key and imperative that you find your own identity. And Prince, rest his soul, he was keen on that, making sure that you stay original to who you are. And I'm going to get to your questions. Yeah. Let me see. We got a couple questions in the audience. I see you guys are coming in. Welcome to the dollhouse. Okay, Alan Yankee wants to know, can I be a background vocalist?
Let's do it. Absolutely. Let's do it. Why not? Let's have some fun.
And he has a very beautiful voice. Very beautiful voice. All right.
I mean, at that point, might as well be a featured artist. Let's create something together. Like, why be just in the background? Right. Let's create something together.
So you messaged him, Alan Yankee. You set that up. Sib wants to know, what are your thoughts on AI being used? Auto-tune, are you talking about auto-tune, Sib, being used to make music? How does it affect producers and artists? And do you feel it will be a problem for the music industry?
So artificial intelligence being used to create, well, first of all, Sybil, shout out to Sybil, I love her. Yeah, I think in all facets of creativity, I think a lot of artists and people in general are worried about the direction of AI. Like, how much will it take away from creativity? I think we're just in the place right now where we don't quite know where to fit it. Um, I don't think that anything will ever truly take away from the creator. I think it might transform the way we create. And I think that's what I think the technology has done that throughout the course of history. Is like as technology progresses, it allows people to do different things that they couldn't do before, or transform the way they work. So I see it as there are ways for us to readjust ourselves that will still be to our benefit. But again, it all depends on the direction. But I don't think it'll ever take away from what artists can do, because at the end of the day, AI can only function based on a group of data sets, and those data sets come from the real world. So without artists, an AI will not create anything new, because an AI needs to feed off of what the artist can do. So I think we're just going to find ourselves in a world in the future where artists will be able to monetize their likeliness or monetize their talent, and make revenue passively in some ways. So like I said, yeah, I don't think it's going to take away. I don't think we're going to see a world where people only listen to AI generated music. I think people are always going to want, or AI generated art, because if we get to that point and then we just kind of bombard the market with just unnecessary content, then it takes away from the value. And no business wants to get to a point where people go like, I don't need to buy that. So I don't think we'll ever get to the point where we're going to lose power as creators because of AI. I think we're just going to transform the way we work as artists because of AI.
Anthony says, the more unique you are, AI can't copy. That is true. Okay.
Yeah. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's always AI can only be fed information to create, but you still have to be the original source for the AI to have something to create from.
Yes, and it's the technology and music today has changed so much from way it was back then. Like my father talking about vinyls. There was 8-track, there was cassettes. You could easily go to the record store and listen to. Like, it's a completely different feeling. Nowadays, it's about streams, and you have so much technology and machines that can master and mix music. And a lot of people say, oh, well, scratching, mixing, like being on the record isn't art. It is. So, I mean, you have so many ways that are fundamentally based on creating music. And this right here could be the new next level of what is to be expected in the music world. And it is definitely going to take over. So I'm ready to see the change. I'm so used to CDs and cassettes and 8-tracks and collecting the vinyls. Like, they never go out of style. They're timeless. But this right here is a completely different thing. So be prepared for the music world to take over, because this new generation.
The way I see it, there was a point in time where people were terrified of, will synthesizers take away from, musicians? And so, like now, I can make a song, I can have a guitar and a violin composition without even knowing how to play the guitar and violin, because it's all synthesized. But there's nothing quite like the real deal. Like, you can hear that difference when someone plays the guitar in a song versus when you use a synthesized guitar. You can hear that difference, and it's the same thing with AI. You'll always hear that difference. And so, like I said, the raw art that comes from humans will never go out of style. They will never go out of style, because any replication can only replicate as much to a certain degree, but can never quite capture the raw essence of true original creativity.
Absolutely. Great question, Sybil. Do we have any questions for myself or Stephen? Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a great conversation. We are talking about the current state and the shift of the music world, because there's something new coming out every day with technology.
Yeah.
We're now in the metaverse. So they're saying, well, you can do this in the metaverse. You can see yourself in 3D. You can see all of these things. And it's just like it's something changing every day. Even in the music world, is something changing and evolving. Like I've heard about auto tune, heard about this, heard about that. But it's so many new things that are
Yeah.
coming out. So who knows what's going to be here in the year of 2025. So my question for you, Stephen, would be, what can you
Yeah.
predict would be for the current state of music in 2025?
Oh man, the current state. I think we're gonna continue to see where AI goes and see how we're going to position ourselves in it. Because I feel like right now everyone is releasing an AI app that can take data and create brand new images. But it's kind of the wild west right now because there are no rules and regulations really set in place because a lot of the apps are, or a lot of them, or at least a lot of the websites using AI are just stealing data from the internet to create. But there's going to have to be some sort of legislation that guides how your data sets. And I think that's where artists are going to have new opportunities come into play. Because for companies to create AIs that have the ability to do what they do, but need to have data sets that come from legal sources, artists will have to be the people behind those data sets. So I think it's going to open the door for artists to have new career paths that don't exist right now, but there'll be new ways for artists to monetize in the future based on where AI goes.
Absolutely. And we got a question from Ali Yankee, our fraternal. He says, do you feel like people are being creatively stifled because they are only interested in a trending single and not a timeless project?
I do. I think I don't like whenever someone says, "Hey, you need to make a pop song to that sounds like this in order to blah 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 blah." I instantly tune them out. Like instantly tune them out because I do not want to create a song that sounds like that song, that sounds like that song, that sounds like that song because then what am I really contributing? Like, what am I really contributing to the art, So I think we get so caught up with and it's unfortunate because I mean, I love social media. There are a lot of powerful things that happen because of social media, like us being connected and things like that. But we see more and more, apps like TikTok and Instagram that rely a lot on trending sounds, and then like and it's usually an algorithm that determines what the trending sound is, and then so people go like, oh, that kind of sound is trending, so I need to make a song like that. And so more and more we're letting our creativity be defined by what an algorithm is telling them to do. It's almost like we're listening to what a machine is telling us to do, which is very odd. It's very, very odd. And I think people are going to get tired of that at some point because as human beings, we love to create original things, and chasing after some trending sound can only take you so far. At some point, you can just burn out. You're going to burn out because where is the creativity? So I definitely think people are being burnt out and are losing the essence of original creations because of the need to hit that trending sound. So I implore artists to understand the strategy. Strategy is always important, but don't let go of your creativity. You can look at what's trending and go, okay, I understand why that's trending, and then find a way to put yourself into that without losing yourself. I just don't think you should ever lose track of who you are as an artist and your creativity in the pursuit of the almighty views and engagement. Like likes and views only take you so far
And
in
that
life.
just correlates with what Anthony just said in the comments. He says timeless music wins Grammys. Trending music goes out of style. And I can
Yeah,
think of one artist who has made timeless music, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson has given us music
yeah,
that has been here for a long time, and we still are listening to.
yeah,
Stream by stream by stream, people are still listening to his music. I mean, my father heard him listening to Billie Jean a few minutes ago. So I mean, it's always something. Timeless music is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and people know the music hand
yeah,
by hand. I mean, if you put a microphone out in the audience, people will automatically know the words. And that's the most beautiful thing is when you have
Yeah.
your audience that knows the music, that sings right along with you. I can give you another artist,
Yeah.
Beyonce. Everyone knows her music, and she's had such an
Yeah.
impact on the music world, not just culturally but globally. All over, people know her music,
Yeah.
and it's remarkable.
Yeah. 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 I think, yeah, don't chasing trends, chasing what's popular right now. It's in the name, trends, popular. That's this. It's momentary. It's only caught up in the current state of things. But if you want to make music that transcends time, then you have to allow yourself to push that aside and create from the heart because people are drawn to realness, and that's why artists like you said, Beyonce and Michael Jackson, when they create music, we really feel it because they're creating from a real place. They're not creating to copy something that is trending right now, or they weren't, or they aren't. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, and that music is going to stay here for a long time. It's going to be here forever. So even when the new
Hmm.
generation of young people that are coming up listen to that music, they're just like they won't know who Michael Jackson is unless you play a record for them. You let them know, and then they really dive
Yeah,
deeper into his because he has such a. All of these artists that we're mentioning here have such a deep catalog of music that you can just go through the time. It's just like
yeah,
wow, how come I never knew this? And even unreleased music. Prince was a genius on that because
yeah,
he didn't. I
yeah,
guarantee you, he has music in the vaults that he hasn't even released yet. For at Paisley Park,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Absolutely. Timeless music is timeless music, and that's one thing we should not ever allow ourselves to let go of, because that would be
Yes,
unfortunate.
and I'm thankful to have it here because even when you, I'll give you an example, you guys. You guys know I'm a big fan of TLC. TLC is one of my favorite girl groups.
Mm,
They've had such an impact on just the whole world culturally, globally, dynamically.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
when I was younger, I think I would have to say about 10 years old. I was listening to TLC. Their album Fan Mail came out, and at the time it was six,
yeah,
and I wore that cassette out, and all the wiring inside the cassette came out, and I was just like, oh my god, I bought that cassette 3 times because the tape tore up. I wore it out front to back, side A, and then it was side B. Finally, I got old
yeah,
enough and I went to the record store and I bought a copy of the Fan Mail CD. So thank God,
yeah.
I've got at least 2 copies of it. So just in case one break or snap, because CDs do break as well too. And
You
it's
got a second
always
one.
good in time to
Yeah, yeah,
capture and hold on to those things too. So I have it,
yeah.
and I thank God I found it. I was just like, I didn't never think I was gonna find this. Luckily, and behold, because I went on a vacation at the time, I went and I picked it up and I grabbed it. Then I found it again, and I said, okay, let me grab another copy. So double it.
That's awesome. Yeah, TLC. Oh man, Fan Mail is a good album. So many good songs. I don't think there's one song that I skip
All right.
on that album. Not
Yes,
one.
and it's remarkable. It's just like you have something, you capture something. Because I know my father put me on to Sade. Sade is another one of my favorite artists, and she's in heavy rotation in my playlist. Smooth Operator is my go-to,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
listening to her greatest hits albums and then going back and listening to Love Deluxe and each album that she's made is a masterpiece all by itself. So going back
yeah,
in time and capturing these
yeah,
artists and their prolific catalog of work is everything. And that would be my advice to
yeah,
anybody. Capture the essence of timeless music. Music that has an essence. Yes, it's great to trend and listen to these artists out here that are trending right now. But what about the timeless
yeah.
music? Think about the Bee Gees, the Beatles, so many artists.
That
Uh,
Beatles. Yeah,
I've mentioned Michael. Um, it's so many. Elton John is another one of my favorite artists. So I have a very eclectic ear for music, and I've always had eclectic ear.
yeah,
Being young at the time, yes, I grew up in the '90s, so I knew about the Whitneys, the Sades, the Anitas, the Janets, the Michaels, the TLCs, all of them. But
yeah,
I like to go back in
yeah,
time and capture the essence of where these artists pulled the inspiration for their music from. And believe it or not, some of them have had
yeah.
an impact on the current musical artists that are out right now, like
Oh
SZA
yeah,
or Stephen Voice
100%.
or who's another current artist that I'm listening to. Her is another one of my favorite artists. as well too. So yeah.
Yeah. I think as artists, all artists owe themselves to understand it, to really understand the history of the industry that they're in. Like, listen to not just the songs that are part of your current generation, but go back and listen to, I listen to Neil Armstrong, and or not Neil Armstrong, Louis Armstrong, and like, there's so much music that came before that when you listen to it, it just, I don't know, it moves you in a way, and then it inspires you to find your own identity as opposed to emulate someone else's
And it
identity.
goes back to what I was saying. Originality is key in this business. And I tell people that
Yeah.
all the time. I'm Yankee, and a few other people tell me that. Don't lose your identity. You're now this talk show hostess. And there are other people out here who do the same thing that you do. Do your own thing in your own style, in your own way. And I do it in a way that is so different. It can't be duplicated. It's like lightning in a bottle. Once you capture that
Yep.
lightning in a bottle, it can't be duplicated. Like,
Can't
okay,
be.
it's timeless. It's like a
Yep.
charm bracelet. If someone gives you a charm bracelet, you cherish it.
Yeah.
And I cherish my gift of being able to have amazing conversations and do it in a way, in a style where it's just relatable to people and people can be at ease. Because I have been told from one of my interviews that I did, oh my God, your spirit is so calming. And I'm like, I don't even do anything. I have a very welcoming spirit, and I think I picked that up from my mom, because my mom's a Libra, I'm a Scorpio. And we're very mellow. We're very mellow, we're very toned down, and I think I picked that up from her. So that nurturing spirit, that
Yeah.
calming, welcoming spirit where people are just like easily comfortable and attached to you, I get that spirit from her. And that's what's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's wonderful. I mean, there's a reason why I've been on your show 3 times now. There's a reason why. And there's a reason why I'm going to be on the 4th time and the 5th time. There's a reason why we're going to continue to have conversations, because there's just you just have a unique energy, and I'm drawn to it. So I appreciate you as a human being.
And that means a lot. That means a lot. And a lot of people say that. So again, it goes back to originality. It's what attracts people and draws people in. Be your own person. And there's a quote out here that says, be the best version of yourself. So I try to be the best version of myself, authentically. And I said this in one of my interviews a few days back. I said originality is key, and being authentic is what brings people in. Yep. I don't want to seem like I'm kind of standoffish or, to the point where people just can't bear to talk to me. I want to be the type of person where it's like, okay, you're safe with me. This is a safe haven. I want people to feel comfortable when they come into the safe space and at ease. Even some of my guests that I book interviews with, and I'll give you that example. They're like, what type of questions are you going to ask me? What you want to get first? I know. My thing is this. I tell people to come on and tell their stories, their way. You can't tell someone how to tell their story. They have to tell it on their time. And that's my motto. I let people come on and tell their story. And I just sit back. And then I weigh out the similarities and the differences. It's just like, well, wow, I've been through something like that too. And even the viewers at home might be watching might have been through something similar. And they're just like, you know what? I've been through this, or I might have known someone who's been through this. So again, in this business, if you want to last and have lasting power, be original, be yourself. I can't be like someone says, oh my God, you're almost like the next Oprah. I said, what? I'm
yourself.
Stevie. I'm not Oprah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could never be her, not trying to take away from what she's doing. She's opened doors for women like me to do what I'm doing, hosting a platform and having a platform. But it's amazing to have that comparison, but no, you can't take away from someone else's legacy and what they can contribute.
No, you cannot.
You just can't.
No, never.
Yes, I've learned to stop comparing myself. And other people, if you want to be in this business too, don't compare yourself. Find your lane that works for you. Find whatever style or idea works for you. And if that idea works, you capture it as lightning in the bottle. And something, Michael Jackson, I'll give you an example. I love Michael. The moonwalk, he mastered it effortlessly. And I can go back in time to Motown 25. That moment is still out here on the internet. Everybody's talking about it. That moment is timeless, and it was captured. So that can't be duplicated. We can't redo that. That was all on him. That was all his free will. He's just genius in all of his performances. So those moments,
Yeah.
the essence of his performances, have been captured. It can't be duplicated.
Yeah.
That's lightning in water.
No. Absolutely. We can be inspired by what came before, but find ourselves. They can help us unlock who we are, but it's important to find ourselves.
Absolutely. And with that being said, you guys are engaged in the conversation. Do we have any questions for myself or Stephen, ladies and gentlemen? While you guys are typing, I'm going to close out this interview with our final thought on the day while you're getting your questions ready, ladies and gentlemen. And this ties into what we were talking about, which is originality. Today's quote comes from, hi, Offset Harris. Are you talking to me or Stephen?
Both of us.
Oh my goodness. So here is today's word of the day on Motivational Monday, ladies and gentlemen. And it comes from Nelson Mandela. Our deepest fear is that we are not inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. So it's within yourself to find out what is your power that makes you powerful. And I can say what makes me powerful is having the strength of God. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. Oh, she said both of us. Hi, my bro. And hi, thank you. I will say this, finding the power within you, because I said that one of my mantras getting up in the morning, my self-manifestation and affirmations that I say in the morning, one of them was I'm invincible. And believe me, Whitney Houston has a song that says, I didn't know my own strength. You don't know how powerful you are unless you sit, you think, you reflect. And in that moment, you realize how powerful you are. Your power comes from being the best version of yourself. Absolutely. I agree, Anthony. 100%.
100%.
So whatever 100%. You're fearing, whether it's a career move, because I know that being in the business, whatever career move, whether you could take a job at Fortune, let's say Forbes magazine or Fortune 500, wherever, and it could be the most powerful position, and they offer you the most powerful position. You're just like, I'm not ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for that. But you never know. That conditioning can prepare you for something even bigger and better. And I have a motto that goes like this: shine bright like a star. Y'all thought I was going to say like a diamond. That's Rihanna's. Shine like a star. Shine like a star.
Yeah.
It is your time. When someone offers you an opportunity, and believe me, I'm thankful for everything that has come my way. I don't ask for much. I've had to turn down certain things. I'm like, oh, this is much too much. No, give it this. I will pass the blessing on to somebody else because God has offered me so many things. I have so much, and I'm thankful for everything that I have. I've had to restart over. Believe me, it wasn't easy. But out of fear, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I know the starting over process can be annoying and frustrating. Ali Yankee can attest to that.
Yep.
But once you start over and you find out what makes you happy, can't be defeated.
Can't be.
The condition.
Can't be. And sometimes it can be freeing. It can be freeing starting over, because once you let go of the annoying aspect of it all, you realize that you can now redefine and repurpose and create new things. So yeah,
absolutely.
I just want to say that.
And to me, I say this all the time: starting over is like a rebirthing process. I'm not one of my old classmates, because I love bringing up people who've inspired me along the way. She told me, there's something very different about you. You don't look the same when we were going to school. I said, yes, I've gotten older. I'm not 19 or 18 or 21 anymore. I'm not those ages. I'm about to be 30 now. So once you hit 30, and I say this also, your mindset, your outlook changes on things. You're not the way you were when you were in your teen years. And there's nothing wrong with starting over, starting a new journey. For me, it's like a rebirthing process.
Yeah.
Because every month, every season that I've done this platform, you see a whole different woman, whether it's not just the aesthetic, the looks, the fashions, the things, but you see a whole new attitude. It's refreshing. It's rejuvenating to come on Even after taking those breaks, it makes you feel good. I'm starting over and I'm looking forward to the journey. Absolutely. And the journey
Yes.
there's going to be some stumbles. You're going to have some hurdles and those obstacles out there that are going to be difficult to get over. But you keep climbing, you keep
Yeah.
persevering. Trust me, I've gotten a lot of no's. I've been told no plenty of times. But those no's have not
Mm-hmm.
stopped me. They've only made me better. Hey, Conscience, if you're watching, I don't know if you're still here, ladies and gentlemen. Conscience TV, make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Conscience's channel. Beautiful soul, beautiful person. And Conscience was one of the people who I was down one day also. Conscious gave me some advice. I just reached out to him because before I'm not really the type of person to reach out to people. I've learned to just sit and internalize things, but now I've learned to open up and be open and transparent. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
is, oh my goodness, I think that I've learned to be able to be vulnerable. The vulnerability is now kicked in because I've been so standoffish and kind of guarded for so long. It's like, okay, I
Yeah.
need to swallow my pride and I need to reach out to this person. I need to reach out and see because I need
Yeah.
some advice. I asked Conscious for some advice. Conscious gave it to me. So thank you, Conscious. If you see this, my love, I said Paris, that is my baby. Hi, boo. Yes. Love Conscious TV. So make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Conscious's channel. Amazing content, powerful conversations. You guys will not be disappointed. Um, and he told me, never change who you are. You are a beautiful soul. He told me that I was a beautiful soul and to never change who I am authentically. People who know me on here, they know me for doing the show. And in real life, they know my personality and it's just the same. It hasn't changed. So you keep those people
Yeah.
within your circle who have definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bubble Lee. Thank you. You're beautiful. Jeez, I just see the flash. Thank y'all so much, and all this love y'all are giving me today. It's amazing. Thank y'all, and I appreciate it. It's amazing to have a beautiful support circle behind you, 100%. Even the ones who doubted
Absolutely.
you. It's
Absolutely.
so funny how time turns around. Time is Steven Lewis's single, so make sure you guys. April 20th. It's so funny how the world goes around and time goes around,
Yeah.
and people look at you from what you were then. They went to school with you, they've known you for a long time, or a childhood friend or whatever, and they say, oh my God, it's a difference in you. I see something different about you. I've changed for the better. And that would be my advice to
Yeah.
anybody out there. This goes along with the quote of knowing your power and navigating through fear. It can be difficult. And trust me, I've gotten scared. I'm not the bravest. I'm not as fearless as you guys think I am, as people think. But I had to learn to realize my strength and my power. My mom helped me reassure that, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
Having those conversations, they're very uncomfortable of finding out things that make us afraid. I know one of my fears, and I'll put it out there. If you know, you know. And for my ladies out there, I went to the mailbox today, and I seen a bunch of caterpillars. I don't do bugs. I don't do spiders. Anything that crawls or slithers that can get up your skin, I know that is my biggest fear. That is what
I
I'm
get
scared
that.
today. I don't do spiders or snakes.
Yeah.
So, but just in general, one of my fears that I feared career-wise or just business-wise is losing. And I've learned that it's okay, accept that defeat. And I'm going to use another one of my favorite singers, Jennifer Hudson. A lot of people, she says, walk up to her and says, oh, she should have won American Idol. She said, no, I shouldn't. Look at me now. She got it. And that just goes to show you that the power of losing sometimes can work out for the better in your favor.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it right then and there. But if you keep working hard, to the people that doubted you and put you down, you've done the work. You've done the research and you've done everything you need to do to get to this successful point in your career. And look at her now. EGOT.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I think people sometimes associate losing or failure with the end, but it's not. It's in many ways it's a way for you to learn more about yourself and come back stronger. And so for me, it's an integral part to our road to success. Because without the losing, without the failing, the wins don't feel as wonderful as they are. So I'm always grateful for the things that don't always work out because they lead me to the things that do work out.
Absolutely. And even better, and even more opportunities. A lot of people think no and rejection is no. No, it could just mean no, not right now. I've had people turn me down to come on the platform. And I'm not bothered by it. I'm not fazed by it. It just means that I'm going to continue to those people who doubted me and said, no, I don't want to come on the platform. Just didn't have believe in my vision. It just means that I'm going to keep working even harder to prove you wrong. I'm going to keep proving you wrong.
Yeah.
Effortlessly. That's how
Absolutely.
Who doubts you. You take it and you turn it around and you work hard if it's something that you really want to do.
Yeah. That's it. If you love something that much, then no one will deter your path. No one can. You will be an unstoppable force.
Perfectly said. Thank you, all said. Let me see. Thank you, Stephen Voice and Style by Stevie, for the meaningful conversation. You are welcome, Anthony. People giving divine energy right now. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. It's always going to be like that when you guys come into what I like to call the dollhouse. And people want to know, why do I call it the dollhouse? Here's the explanation. You guys look at me and you see fashion, you see glamour, and beauty, and grace, and elegance, and all of these things. I call it the dollhouse because when I dress people, I don't dress them with clothing. Hence the name Style by Stevie. I dress them with love. And I dress you guys with love. This is coming from the heart. And these are real, genuine feelings and emotions that real life people feel in real time. So we talked about mental health earlier and normalizing it. So I want people that are at home watching the platform, whether it's no classmate, family, friend, whoever is watching, to take away a powerful message from the platform. And not just the fashion, the glitz and glamour that you guys love, but dressing the inside as well too. What's in here? The heart. So
that's powerful.
That's why I call it the dollhouse. And you guys are always welcome here in the dollhouse. Everyone has their sanctuary, so it's great to welcome you guys into my home in real time, where it's like, okay, this is a safe space for you two that are watching.
This is why you'll always get the premieres from me. I'm like, every time something new comes out, comes to you first.
And I
always
appreciate it so much. Fashion dolls, do we have any last questions for Stephen? Make sure you guys go and check out the single time, April 28th. The single will be dropping, so make sure you guys go and check it out and check out his other hit single, Scream, which is out right now on all streaming platforms. Do we have any questions? And I hope you guys took away something from this powerful conversation. We went a little bit longer. The last time it was kind of short, but we went a little bit longer because this one.
I like it. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Any questions?
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. I'm glad you guys love it and just love the overall conversation. And I hope this put your mind at ease because it's been a heavy week. With so much going on in the news and in the world, I want to kind of give people that escape and that getaway, just for a few minutes, step away for a few minutes, unplug, unwind, and just relax and take your mind off of everything that's going on in the world for a minute and just come in here and just enjoy some good, downhearted, real conversation.
Absolutely.
So we don't have any questions, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to let Stephen close it out with the final word of today. Are there any final words that you would like for your fans and your supporters and everyone who's following you to take away from you?
I just, for me, it's always going to be about gratitude. And like I always keep saying, I'm grateful, that my path got to cross with yours, and here we are. And it's just be grateful for the wonderful things in your life. And when you find yourselves in a place where you're not able to see the things you should be grateful for, it you probably means you need time to take a step back and just allow yourself to breathe and get recollected and allow yourself to re-see the things that you should be grateful for. So prioritize gratitude because that's how you truly enjoy life.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Voice, let everyone know where they can follow you. The single will be dropping April 28th. So make sure you guys go and
28.
check it
Yeah.
out. Time. Let everyone know where they can check out the rest of the music and everything.
Absolutely. So, I mean, on Instagram is where I'm the most active. So if you follow, just, click on my name wherever it is in here and just follow, subscribe, or follow. But yeah, my music is on Apple Music, iTunes, my website if you want to, StephenVoiceStore.com. But honestly, Instagram is the place to be, and you'll be kept up to date on all things that I'm working on.
Always a pleasure having you here. I can't believe this is our third time. Third
time.
time's a charm. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Always a pleasure having you here, Stephen. And we definitely would love to have you back on again in the future.
Oh, absolutely. It's not even a question. It's not even a question.
All right.
Thank you again for having me. Appreciate you.
You are so welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Voice joining me tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk fashion. Lendani Stylist will be here tomorrow, all the way from Nigeria. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for that at 4. And we will see you with more amazing guests this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this amazing conversation. And we hope you took something away from all of these gems throughout this interview, from the mental health aspect to owning your own individuality and being your authentic self. Watch the interview from beginning to end.
Absolutely.
We love you, Fashion Dolls, and you guys have an amazing motivation. Take care, everyone. Take care.
Bye.